Okay, we're officially live. Okay. Sorry, just now there was something wrong with the live. It wasn't going. I don't know why, but now we're live. Okay. Guys can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. You're kind of cutting. I think there's something wrong with my connection. Wait, give me a second. Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shaden. I'm from Egypt. And
And my name is Muhammad Alomgir Hossain, and I am from Bangladesh.
all right, so we are students from professional speech course, and we will be the hosts for tonight. So for tonight's episode, we'll be focusing on disability in the workplace, more specifically vision impairment. So we have our guest here who will be focusing, who's an expert here with us tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, Professor. Could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, Sister Shaden. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nizam bin Barum. I'm a lecturer here at the Department of Economics, International Islamic University, Malaysia. I'm a visually impaired person. Yeah? So I initially lost my central vision, and currently my vision is very poor, but still I have some slight peripheral vision that can help me to move around. Yeah? So I'm using a white cane, the stick that blind person use to walk around. So if you see me around the campus, then please ask me if whether I'm wanting some help. Yeah? Because sometimes when I wanted to go to certain place, so it's good to have somebody to guide, yeah? The direction. Um, for my education background, I did my economics degree in IIUM, graduating in the year 2000. After that, I went to University of Malaya, doing my masters, and after that to University of Durham in the UK for my PhD. When I did my undergraduate program here in IIUM, the awareness in terms of disability inclusion was very low. We don't have a disability services unit at that time either. Yeah. However, when I did my masters in the UM, it seems that at that time, UM is a bit ahead of us in terms of providing services to students with disability. So there's a big community of disabled students studying in the University of Malaya, and with the interaction, I managed to learn a lot of things related to how to, for example, use screen reader software, yeah, in order to uh, help me in reading books, yeah, and also doing my research, yeah, and paperwork. Currently, I'm teaching at the Department of Economics, and screen reader technology, and also nowadays we have a lot of accessible teaching materials in digital form, as well as reading materials in digital form, that assists a lot, yeah, in making my life much more easier in terms of accessing document, grading students, paperwork, and so on. I'm also currently a member of a task force established by the university in improving the inclusivity among the students, staff, and overall community in the university. Thank you.
Right. Okay. I have a question. So, how long have you been working, and how long did you get the job?
I graduated in the year 2000, and after that, I applied for. At that time, there's still a thing called assistant lecturer. Yeah? So I applied for the position of an assistant lecturer, I was accepted. But of course, during that time, there was still the top management a bit skeptical on the ability of disabled people to work. Yeah. When after my graduation in the year 2000, I applied to many institutions because I plan to be an academician. Yeah, so I applied to many institutions, and one of the institutions that I also applied was UKM, the National University of Malaysia. Apparently, there was a blind professor working at the university, and when I went there for an interview, yeah, they were very receptive of accepting. In fact, I received the offer from National University of Malaysia first, before IIUM sent me an offer letter. Unfortunately, the letter that was sent to my home address, yeah, was sent to another village. Yeah, so there were like 2 weeks gap before the letter was rightly returned to my home address. And during that time as well, IIUM sent an offer letter to me. So it was like fate, that the letter came late. Otherwise, I will be reporting my duty to National University of Malaysia, because I was eagerly waiting for the offer at that time. So since 2000, I have worked with IIUM, starting with assistant lecturer, and then immediately after that, I was asked to continue my study, and I went to University of Malaya. Returning from the master's degree, I started to teach basic economic courses. And after several years, after 4 years, I think, yeah, I was again asked to continue my study at the PhD level, returning around 2011. And thus far, I have served the university. If you calculate from the year I reported my duty as an assistant lecturer, about 22 years.
All right, that's very interesting. Okay, so what about any special kind of arrangements at your workplace that you need to help you with your job? Is there any kind?
For visually impaired person like myself, yeah, I need a screen reader. Yeah, a screen reader is a technology that enable us to access the computer and all other digital materials. So it kind of read whatever appears on the screen. Yeah, so anything that is digital. So because of that, yeah, when I joined the university was the kuliah was kind enough to buy me a laptop, and also to buy me a licensed screen reader software. So that was a big help to me. Yeah, but of course, this screen reader software improves over time. Yeah, so I think so far the kuliah has bought me the license software for 3 times. Yeah, 2 times using the kuliah
Improves over
own
time.
money. So and the third time was using the research grant money. Yeah, so this helps a lot. In addition to the screen reader, yeah, the kuliah has also allocated in terms of teaching. Yeah, the kuliah has allocated a nearby classroom for me. Yeah, so my office in the second floor, so all my classes would either be in the second floor or on the first floor. So this also helped me to go to my classes more conveniently. Uh, in basically, when we talk about people with disability, you have a thing called reasonable accommodation. Yeah, reasonable accommodation means that you try to facilitate some adjustments for people with disability to do their job well. So some of these reasonable accommodations may not necessarily be expensive. Yeah, of course, screen reader software may be quite expensive, yeah, but other kind of reasonable accommodation, for example, making arrangement for a nearby classroom, yeah, or making arrangement for postgraduate students to assist me, yeah, in the case of, for example, filling up forms or grading exercises, yeah. So these are some kind of reasonable accommodations which can be easily provided for people with disability. So that's why we can see a lot of people with visual impairment. They are able to contribute in their workplace, yeah, in terms of contribution to the society through NGOs, civil societies, and so on. Yeah. For example, yeah, my idol, yeah, when I was at school, yeah, my idol was the late Professor Ismail Saleh. So he was the first blind professor in Malaysia. He was an economic advisor to the fourth and the fifth prime minister. Yeah, so he was a very influential figure in the education sector in Malaysia, particularly in the private sector. He was also somebody quite influential in the business sector, giving a lot of comments and analysis on the economy and also public sector finance. Yeah, so he basically inspired me to choose economics as a profession, as a discipline, and to become an academician. Yeah, at the university.
Okay. So, sir, at a workplace, we have many challenges. Actually, we have many challenges around. So, what kind of challenges have you faced, or what kind of problems do you encounter at your workplace?
Uh, Basically, the challenge can be in different forms. Yeah. I think the the most important or the primary challenge for people with visual impairment is to access document and also to prepare documents. Yeah, because these documents would be prepared for people with sight, yeah, but we can only hear in terms of the voices spoken by the screen reader software. So reading, assessing, analyzing, and later writing and preparing documents can take a much longer time as compared to uh, sighted people. Yeah, for example, if somebody needs, let's say, half an hour to read an article, yeah, maybe I may take 2 hours to read an article, especially if the article has diagrams or tables, yeah, or a figure. Yeah, so I need to look carefully, navigate from one cell to another cell, if it is a table, and try to imagine the table. Yeah, so these are some of the things that we need to do, and therefore it takes up, yeah, a much longer time. And then if let's say I receive a thesis for examination or a proposal for review, yeah, I will take much longer time because I will need to go line by line, and because you are listening, yeah, to the voice who are reading the document, yeah, and then you need to be very much 100% focused, otherwise you will lose, yeah, what the person is saying. And then you cannot also skim through the document, yeah, you need to go line by line, yeah, so that you will not miss anything. And then if you found a mistake, yeah, or an error, then you need to painstakingly find that error in the document and highlight it. Yeah, so it's not as easy as taking a highlighter and then put a mark on it, yeah, or take a red pen and underline it or circle the word. Yeah? So you need to search for that error in that document. So this is a few examples of the things that makes assessing, reading, analyzing, as well as preparing document much requiring a much longer time.
Okay, so that's mean so you have to face every day actually. You have to face many challenges, right, sir?
Yes, this is one of the challenges. Mobility is also another problem. Yeah, of course, during the pandemic, a lot of meetings and discussions were held online. Yeah, so this is something that is a blessing in disguise for us. We just sit, yeah, in the office or at our house. Yeah, and then join those discussion through Zoom or any other means. Yeah, platforms. But before that, or even now, people are coming back to the uh, previous norms, having meetings and discussion. So going from one place to another place, especially if it is unfamiliar places. Yeah? So you need to really find a way. Yeah? So that's where, uh, in the case of IIUM, the Disability Services Unit has created a platform in which volunteers, guide volunteers, yeah, are able to assist those who are in need of guide services. Yeah, for example, going to the malls or going to the clinic, yeah, from Mahala. So these people will be able to guide and assist, yeah, people with visual impairment to visit these places. Yeah? Otherwise, they will take a lot of difficulties moving around the campus, especially when we talk about IIUM, yeah, because of the nature of the land, yeah, the landscape is not all flat, yeah, so you have uh, quite a number of barriers, yeah, or challenges that you need to face if you want to go from one place to another. Yeah. So that is another issue lah. Probably the third would be teaching. Yeah. Luckily now we have PowerPoints. In the past, we use overhead projector. Yeah. If you still remember, I do not know whether you are familiar with this. Yeah. In the past, we are talking about in the maybe in 2000, 2001, 2002, people are still using OHP, overhead projector. So if you want to make changes to overhead projector, it's not easy because this is something that you need others to do it for us. Yeah. But now using PowerPoint slides, I can easily make changes to the slide, improve the slides from semester to semester, add new information. So this kind of helps lah. Yeah. So technology really helps for people with visual impairment. Yeah? For example, coming back to the late Professor Ismail Saleh, he was able to run a private higher education institution. He was able to be the secretary of the National Council of Economic National Council of Economic what they call this conference, for the whole country, because of the availability of this technology. Yeah, otherwise it's not possible for a visually impaired person to handle, yeah, huge amount of documents, and be able to analyze them and make report and present them to the public.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So, how do you teach your students? Is this an online or face to face?
This semester we have started teaching students face to face. Yeah. For example, I just had my final class this semester this morning, which was done face to face. And I believe students prefer face-to-face class. I mean, majority of the students prefer face-to-face class. Yeah, because even though I conducted face-to-face class, but because of some people may still be away because of the visa issues and so on. They were not able to return to Malaysia to the campus, and some people may also be under quarantine. Yeah, so I always have hybrid mode whenever I have this physical class. Yeah, so in the first week of the semester, only 3 or 4 people join the physical class through Zoom. Yeah, but after some time, I can see that more and more people are joining the physical class through Zoom. Yeah, even though I'm conducting the class physically, but more people have chosen to join the class through Zoom. But still, majority of the students came to the class, and then they expressed their um, their preference towards having this physical class compared to online. Yeah, but again, yeah, in the uh, early period of the semester, when the COVID cases were still high, we make alternate arrangement. Yeah, in a week, we have one online class and one physical class. Yeah, but towards the end, I have conducted relatively more physical classes compared to online classes.
All right. Do you face any challenges to form like a good relationship with your colleagues or students?
Alhamdulillah, this university is an Islamic university, so people have good attitude, yeah, uh, good uh, in terms of respecting others. Yeah, so I can work with my colleagues, go along with my colleagues very well, and they have helped me in many ways. Yeah. Students are also very respectful to the staff, to the lecturers. Yeah. So I don't face much problem. Yeah. The only thing that I think can be improved, yeah,
Mm.
is, for example, yeah, in the classroom, whenever I need help, yeah, and I ask somebody to come to help, it's always be the ladies, yeah, yeah, the sisters will come to help.
Mm, yes.
I always complain this in the class. Yeah? Where is our brothers? Yeah? Where is our brothers? So those ladies will be sitting in front. The sister will still in front. The sisters will be proactive in asking questions. Yeah. Even when I ask for help, yeah. For example, somebody, can you clean the whiteboard? Even that, the sisters will come. So this sometimes I complain. Why you are not proactive, brothers? Yeah. So you are supposed to be the leaders. Yeah. You are supposed to take more responsibilities. Yeah. but you're not doing your part. Yeah. So I always complain on this. Yeah. Whenever this also not only limited in the classroom. Yeah. Even outside the classroom, when I go to the mosque, for example. Yeah. There's a lot of brothers over there going to the mosque to pray. Yeah. But they don't care about people with disability around them. Yeah, so they talk among themselves. They just pass me and then walk quickly to the mosque. Yeah, so the attitude can be better lah. So we need to create more awareness in terms of being more sensitive, being more responsive to our surrounding, especially people with disability. Yeah, because in this community we have people who are rich, people who are poor, yeah, people who comes from elite families, people who are coming from the villages, yeah, people who are healthy, people who have some sickness. So we have diversity in the community. So we also have people with disability in the community. And in order to be inclusive, yeah, so everybody must also look out for opportunities to assist others whenever they can. Yeah. So I'm hoping that the IIUM community can also see, yeah, around yourself, yeah, whether you see people that require help. Yeah. Of course, for people with disability, we always want to be independent. Yeah. But sometimes there are situations in which we could not be independent. Yeah. For example, if I go to the mosque for Friday prayer, yeah, so I cannot find the gaps in order for me to stand on the soft. Yeah. So sometimes I will go from one side to another side, yeah, in the middle of the soft, in the middle of the line, yeah, but nobody grab my hand, yeah, and bring me to the gaps so that I can pray in the line.
The right way.
Yeah. So yeah, so this is something that of course some people say that they know that people need help, but they do not know how to do it, and therefore hoping that others, yeah, can assist. Yeah. So no, this is something that we need to change. If you want to help, then do it. Yeah. Don't wait for others. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I do agree. Actually, girls are much more responsive and helpful towards trying
Yes.
to
Yes.
help
Yeah.
more than boys. So,
Yeah.
okay, what about
That's
any?
a pity because we are in an Islamic university. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever experienced any negative feedback from your students or colleagues, and how do you respond to it?
Uh, Negative feedback. You know, our students are very respectful. I don't think they give negative comments to their lecturers unless their lecturers are, are very, very, very aggressive to them. Yeah. So far, I have not received any negative feedback. Even if even if they wanted to ask something, yeah, they will be very, very respectful. Yeah? For example, when can we get the comments on our project? So I may take a
Mm.
longer time to review the submissions. Yeah, and therefore that's why I'm quite lenient in terms of my deadline. Yeah. So if I feel that I'm not able to give comments um, quickly, so I will compensate by extending the deadline so that they will not be angry to me. Yeah. So I also need to understand their problems as well. Yeah? So they also have a lot of other assignments. Yeah. So I'm not the only one giving them assignments. So if I'm not able to give comments, for example, for their initial submission or for their outline, then it's not fair for me if I stick with the current deadline. So for example, this semester, I've given 1 week additional time for them to complete the project paper because of I'm giving the comments a bit late. Yeah.
Mm.
So this is some of the issue with the time management lah. Yeah. So if you are able to do it, for example, I wanted to give comments in writing. Yeah. When they submit those outline in on iTalim, but I found that it takes a long time. Yeah. So after a week, I decided, okay, let me do it in a different way. So I call the groups one by one. Yeah. And I give the comments verbally. So this solved the problem earlier. Yeah, because of my inability to give the comments quickly in writing. So I solved that by giving verbal comments, and as a result, I managed to give the comments in a span of 2-3 days. Yeah, instead of maybe it may take 1 or 2 weeks time. So these are some of the challenges, because our semester is not that long, 14 weeks, right? So you normally give assignments in the third week, and then you require them to submit in week 12 or week, so that you have enough time to grade them and publish their camp, yeah, before the final exam. Yeah, so that that window of time, is quite limited, yeah, for me to handle huge number of submissions. Yeah, but Alhamdulillah, so far I still can manage lah, inshallah.
Okay, sir. So, do you think that people with disabilities can participate in any program or any organization?
Uh, of course, why do you have such a question? Yeah? If you say that people with disability cannot engage in certain program, you are being discriminatory. Yeah. So this is discrimination against people with disability. So opportunity must be equal to all. Yeah. So the concept of equal opportunities. Yeah. Whether we are able to do it as good as others, then it's a different story. Whether we should do it or not, then it's a different story. Whether we have the opportunity to do it or not, that should be the right of everyone, yeah, including people with disability. Yeah. If you look at, for example, in the education institutions, yeah, we have a lot of people with disability becoming teachers, yeah, lecturers, researchers, yeah. In the corporate world, for example, I have friends with visual impairment who work in the bank, yeah. I have friends who are lawyers, yeah. I have friends who in psychology, giving counseling to people. I have friends teaching Al Quran. These are all people with visual impairment. Yeah. So there is no issue of their potentials to contribute to the society. Yeah. If you look at other countries, yeah, for example, in America, in the UK, yeah, uh, their role is even more, yeah, wide ranging. Yeah. In fact, there's one time in the UK, you have a blind home minister looking after the police and the homeland security. Yeah. Uh, so you have blind people doing software engineering. Yeah. So all kinds of areas that people with visual impairment can venture into. Yeah. and there's no issue of them in terms of their ability to contribute in the context of working in employment, or in terms of social work, doing social work in NGOs and civil service organization, as well as in the public sector. Yeah.
Okay. Since the pandemic, I think we already talked about this in the beginning, but since the pandemic, we've all faced many challenges, whether like teaching or learning virtually as students or lecturers. So, what kind of challenges have you faced when teaching online? Like switching, what made it what's the difference between like face to face and then online to you?
Okay. This is interesting, yeah, because when you teach in the class, the students are in front of you, yeah, so you can hear whether they're talking, you can hear whether they are actually answering your question, you can hear whether uh, they are trying to find answers in the textbook, flipping the pages, yeah. You can even hear people sneeze in the in the classroom. So things are very lively. Yeah. So you are able to get feedback from your student immediately. But teaching online, everybody mute their mic. So you do not know what they are doing. Yeah, because you cannot see.
Sure.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
then even if they switch on their video camera, you cannot see. But of course, maybe 90% will not show their faces, right? So you
True.
are just talking alone, yeah, just talking alone. That's number one. Number two, when at the initial stage, when I need to teach online, then I need to learn so many new things. Yeah, setting up Zoom. I mean, sharing the screen. What else? And then checking for attendance, creating materials on iTalim. Yeah, so these are all very very new to me at that time. Yeah, so a lot of learning to do, and also I had to upgrade to a new laptop as well, yeah, because I cannot use the old one. It's simply too slow, so I need to upgrade to a new laptop. What else? And initially I was using Meet, Google Meet. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when we use Google Meet, every time somebody wants to join, you need to
Oh, you have to click.
allow. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that is a mess. Imagine 120 students wanting to join. So you don't have anything else to do except clicking the accept button. So
And students are also
that
late.
yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous. And then when you start teaching, then people asking to join. So I was very demotivated at that time, yeah, with the technical challenges on top of the new environment teaching online, yeah, without knowing what your students are doing, yeah, asking question, you wait for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, nothing,
Nobody
yeah,
answering.
nobody answer. But when you check 102% online, but when you ask a question, nobody answer, yeah. Only after a long period of time, somebody will say something. Yeah, after you have asked them many many times. Yeah, so this is something that I experienced. Yeah, but after 1 or 2 semesters, because we had the pandemic for almost 2 years, right? So after maybe after 1 or 2 semesters, I'm more comfortable with the online platform, because after that I switched to Zoom. And using Zoom, you are able to manipulate the settings so that students can just enter without without you need to give permission. And
Right.
then you can easily record the session so that you can upload later on YouTube and share with the rest. So it's easier lah for me after I switch to Zoom, yeah, because I can record the session into my laptop. If you use Google Meet, you need to go to your Google Drive and download, yeah, and therefore it creates additional challenge to me because not all websites are easily accessible. Yeah, so for me, navigating in Google Drive is very difficult. Yeah, if you give me a link to a file on Google Drive, I may take a long time just to identify the file and download it. Yeah, so that is another challenge. Yeah, which makes everything taking so much time.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, this is the last question from my side. So, Doctor, how do you usually conduct your lecture? Like, do you have any specific routine or something else?
Convert lecture.
Yeah, that's mean
Conduct
you are, yeah.
conduct the lecture.
Oh, okay. Uh, we have the PowerPoint slides. Yeah, we share the PowerPoint slides with the student early in the semester by uploading the materials on iTalim. Yeah, so all materials will already be there in on iTalim. Um, and I will use the slides to teach. Of course, they will also need to refer to the teaching materials. For example, the undergraduate course that I'm teaching uses a textbook. Yeah, so this is easy. But for postgraduate courses, I may use different types of materials for a particular topic. So it can be different articles, or reports. So I will upload this on iTalim for before the class for them to download and read. Yeah, of course, many of them didn't do this. Yeah. But still, I will upload those files on iTalim, hoping that they will be able to download and refer to them before coming to the class. So in the class, we will go based on the PowerPoint slides. Yeah. And then if let's say I need to write on the whiteboard, I will write. Yeah. So I use the whiteboard very regularly. Yeah. Because I'm teaching economics. Yeah. So in addition to diagrams, there will also be calculation. Yeah, so I will make the calculation online. Of course, I cannot read what I have written on the board. Yeah, but the
Yeah,
students can. Yeah, of course, they have to bear with my
yeah,
handwriting. Yeah, so my handwriting may not be that nice, but every time I write something, I will say what I'm writing so that they will know. So from time to time, I will ask, can you understand my handwriting? Yeah? Is it clear or not? Yeah.
Right.
And when I have to draw, yeah, I will also draw. Yeah. Again, the drawing may not be that good, but sometimes I will also call somebody to help me draw, yeah, the diagram on the whiteboard. So that's why I sometimes complain, yeah, about the students. Yeah, whenever I call people to to assist, yeah, the sisters will come. So sometimes I have to insist. I want brothers. I want brothers to come. Uh,
All right. So
right.
now the last and final question for you, Professor, and for
yes.
our viewers who would like to know. So, what recommendations would you give to employers who would like to recruit people with disabilities at the workplace?
Uh, we were commissioned by the Ministry of Women, Family and Social Development, yeah, to conduct a study, a nationwide study on the employability of people with disability. Yeah, and the study was a big study covering all kinds of issues. Yeah, but what I wanted to highlight is that when we survey employers, yeah, between employers who hire people with disability and employers who do not, yeah, we found out that for employers who hire people with disability, their responses was that they were not much different in terms of productivity. Yeah, so the productivity for people with disability uh, was said to be lower, but the difference is not that significant. Yeah, it's not that significant. That's number one. So number two, when we surveyed people, employers without employers who do not hire people with disability, one of the major factor was that they do not even thought about hiring people with disability. It didn't cross their mind that
Mm.
they can also hire people with disability. Yeah, it's not that they do not want to, but they never thought of hiring people with disability. Yeah, and also many employers do not know in terms of the incentive the government provides for employers who employ people with disability. So my point is, number one, people with disability, if they are given the opportunity, they are given some reasonable accommodation, yeah, some adjustment in the workplace, they can contribute, yeah, to the organization, to the business, as maybe not as good as the top performing employer, but it should not be the least, or the worst performer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be working there, contributing as any other average worker, yeah, in the organization. Number two, we need to increase the awareness among employers on this fact that people with disability want to work. Yeah, we also, like any other ordinary people, we want to have a decent life, we want to work, we need to have a purpose of life. Yeah, of course, doing ibadah and contributing to the religion is also part of the purpose of life. Yeah, but in terms of fulfilling our day-to-day activities, yeah, having a work, yeah, going for a work, yeah, give meaning to somebody's life, yeah, and therefore we also need to live in a dignified manner, just like any other person. So if we are given the opportunity to work, we will try to do our best, yeah, because for example, in my case, yeah, I try to do my best, so that if I give a good example, yeah, and this organization would not hesitate to employ people like me in the future. Yeah. For example, when I was interviewed in the National University of Malaysia, UKM, yeah,
Yes.
I told them I am a visually impaired person. Yeah,
Mm.
but I was surprised uh, from their response, because they say, "Oh, we do not have any problem with this. Yeah, we do not discriminate." And then they were telling me about their good experience with Professor Ismail Saleh, who used to work there. So
Mm.
my thinking was, oh, because of the good experience that they had with Prof. Ismail Saleh,
Mhm.
they have also good impression of employing more people with disability in their organization. So this is something that I also wanted to highlight to other people, students with disability, that if they do good, yeah, if they perform, yeah, then they are not only doing good for themselves but also doing good for the community of the disabled people, yeah, because it will give good impression for employers, good impression for the society, to trust giving opportunity, yeah, to us in order for us to go into the organization as employees and so on. Yeah.
I agree. So, all right. So I guess that's all the questions we have. But we also have one question from our viewer. So regarding uh, the case about more women helping more responsive than guys, what are some of the factors that cause the sense of less responsiveness towards helping those with disabilities, other than the fact that they don't know how to help? What makes the young men less responsive compared to the young women?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I do not know why.
Is there any
This
other
is a
reason?
problem that I encountered since I first teaching in this university. Of course, there are, in my experience, there were few classes where the brothers are quite responsive. Yeah. In fact, this semester, after I made the complaint, there was one brother who will come regularly to me early in the class asking, "Sir, do you need any assistance?"
Mm,
So after I have complained in the class, so some some of the brothers take up the responsibility to come to see me personally to offer help. Yeah. So I said, I'm okay, I can manage. Yeah. We try to be as independent as possible, but sometimes when we are in need, then only we request for help. Yeah. So this is something that I do not know. Yeah. What are the factors? Why sisters like to sit in front? Yeah. Why brothers like to sit at the back? And why every time lecturer asks questions, the sisters will try to answer while the brothers kept quiet? I do not know. Yeah. Maybe you can conduct a survey why this is
we
a
should find
problem.
out why.
Find out why.
All right. I guess that's all for the questions. So thank you so much, Professor Muhammad Nizam, for answering those questions and for joining us. And it was a pleasure to have you with us. I mean, it's been a while. We tried to um, conduct this interview. There's so many clashes, but alhamdulillah, we managed to conduct this webinar. Thank you for attending, and we hope everybody has learned and enjoyed this session. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for inviting as well.